So take notes. You heard what she said. We didn't pay her for real. She just did it on her own will. But I want to bring up this Jackie. Jackie also has a testimony to share with you guys today. She also went through the process. And once again, I want you to hear it from them, not just what we do. So let's give Jackie some encouragement as she comes to the stage. Hey, Miss Jackie. I'm Mike. Nice to meet you. Miss Jackie, you're going to get the same question. So you went through the process. You maybe met Sarah or came to a first-time home buyer seminar or something similar, but you decided to buy a house. What was the determining factor that you said, I'm not going to rent anymore or stay with parents or whatever, I'm going to do this and I'm going to buy a house and this is my first step? Like, what did that look like for you?
Well, I was actually Sarah's very first home buying client, so it was a new process for the both of us. My husband wasn't really sure that we were going to be able to buy a house, but we know that we wanted to start a family, and our lease in our apartment was coming up soon, so I was just like, well, let me just see how the process would work, how much we would even get qualified for, and if we could get a cheaper mortgage than the rent that we're paying, a win is a win. So that was pretty much what led me to start the process, and yeah.
Okay, very good. So you started the process, you went through the pre-approval process, of course, and then you started looking for a house. How many houses did you look for? What was your experience with shopping for a house? Did you think there was the perfect house out there, or did you have to buy one that needed repairs? Or kind of educate them on this, because my biggest challenge with buyers is that they think that the perfect home exists, and it really don't. It's perfect for you, but as far as, you get what I'm saying. So share what the shopping process looked like and let us know your insight on it.
So we did see a lot of houses, but the most important thing, we did have a FHA loan. So the houses that we looked for, we did have to make sure we're up to a certain code, which is a pro in my eyes, because you don't want to buy a house that's not up to code and you got to put in thousands of dollars and it's not even livable. You're paying all this money down. So the houses that we looked at, they did need some work, but for the most part it was livable and everything was, decent. But the house that we ended up buying, to me, was the perfect starter home. It was newly remodeled. It had 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, and to me, we saw, that was like our last house that we were shown. It was our last house, and when we put the offer in, luckily they accepted our offer, because we had put in an offer on the previous home before that we thought was perfect, but stuff happens for a reason. But I think we saw like, it was a lot of houses that we were going through. And halfway through the process, I was like, I don't even want to do this anymore. Every time we put in an offer, it got rejected. But she did encourage us to keep looking and stuff like that. And we've been in our home going on 5 years. So
that's awesome. So my final question before I turn control over to Sarah is, what advice would you give them? I know they're strangers, some of them are to you, but what advice would you give them today that you wish you would have told yourself when you were thinking about buying a house?
To definitely be at your inspection. Whenever you do start looking at houses and you decide you want to close on a contract, do definitely try to schedule a time where you and your inspector are there together. That way you can see exactly what he's seeing, or if he misses something that you're concerned about or have questions about, that they can answer for you. But honestly, if you think that you can't afford it, or it's too much, or you're going to put too much down, if it's the money thing that you're worried about, I'm not going to say I wouldn't worry about it, but it honestly wasn't as much as you would think it would be. So don't let that get into your head like you can't afford it, because there's different programs and stuff that people offer, like FHA, closing cost assistance, down payment assistance, just things like that. And to me, my mortgage was actually a lot cheaper than what I was paying for an apartment whenever I was renting. So I wouldn't go into it looking at it like that, because you never know, you could be surprised. So.
All right, Jackie. Thank you so much, Miss Jackie. Appreciate you. Let's give us some encouragement.